Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 17 online game. We're getting very close to the end of the 32 team preview series for the upcoming NFL season. I don't know if anybody's feeling sad. I'm kind of feeling happy because that means we're getting very close to Madden 18. I know the Dolphins fans are very sad because of what's going on with Ryan Tannehill. It's looking like ACL surgery is going to happen. Tannehill will be out for the rest of the season, and that will severely hurt the Miami Dolphins' chances of making the playoffs. The Miami Dolphins last year made the playoffs as a wildcard team, but despite making the playoffs, they didn't really stand much of a chance in the playoffs because by then Tannehill was already out for the year and Matt Moore was the quarterback, and we all know that didn't go too well, and Moore got absolutely destroyed in that playoff game. And it looks like Matt Moore might be returning. There's some talks that Jay Cutler may be coming back, and maybe not, because Cutler wants to stay in the broadcasting booth. But that's the big question right now for the Miami Dolphins. This preview is going to be a little bit different than the other previews because, in the other 32-team previews, we did it before training camp, but we didn't have advanced knowledge of some of the injuries that were happening. With the Ravens situation, we got a little bit of a head start with them, and now with the Miami Dolphins, their season's completely turned upside down without having Ryan Tannehill, because Tannehill has been pretty decent the last couple of seasons. He's definitely progressed a lot as a quarterback. You guys know Tannehill played a lot of wide receiver in college. He wasn't fully a quarterback. So, Tannehill really was turning the corner, and these injuries really do suck because it would have been nice to see what the Dolphins could have done with Ryan Tannehill. Now, we're going to look at the roster besides the quarterback position because we don't know what's going on with the quarterback position, and right now it's not looking too good. So, let's just say that that's a huge question mark. Thankfully for the Dolphins, they have a big-time running back in Jay Ajayi. Was Ajayi a one-hit wonder? Can he repeat this year? Well, if he was a one-hit wonder, he was one hell of a one-hit wonder because he might have had the most impressive season last year for any running back. Maybe like I wouldn't say he did, but you can definitely make an argument for it because of how bad of an offensive line he was playing behind. Sure, the Dolphins have some receivers and some weapons on the offensive end, but that offensive line was so bad. It was pretty amazing that Ajayi had 3 200 rushing yard games on his own. 2 of them were against the Buffalo Bills, but still, it was really impressive. So we'll see if Ajayi can repeat that, and it's gonna be a big question mark if he can, because that offensive line really hasn't improved so far. They didn't really do much in the offseason to improve the offensive line. Laramie Tunsil's probably moving to left tackle this season. He played a lot of left guard since they had some tackle depth last year, but they got him. We got to see if Pouncey's gonna be healthy this year because he hasn't been healthy for a while and barely played last year. Juwan James has probably been the best staple of this offensive line the last couple of years since he was drafted a couple of years ago. The wide receiving core is really good. They got Devontae Parker and Jarvis Landry, and I really like those two, one of the more underrated 1-2 wide receiving duos in the NFL, because Devontae Parker, I mean, he's got a lot of the big fundamentals to be a good receiver in the NFL, and with Ryan Tannehill, he definitely could have taken a step this year. We'll see what happens with that back and quarterback position. They're bringing Cutler, or Kaepernick is always a name that's thrown out there. Whoever else is a free agent that could come in and play quarterback. But for the most part, there's going to be a drop-off in play from this backup quarterback to what Ryan Tannehill provided. So it would be really nice if the defense was able to help out. Now, the run defense last year was the big problem for the Dolphins. As good as their run game was on offense, the run defense was just that bad on the defensive end. They were, I think, second to last in average yards per carry given up by running backs. So, you would think that a team with an Ndamukong Suh inside would be pretty dominant, but they just weren't. They just weren't. I don't know why, and I guess it's because they didn't have any other guys really helping out, and then their pass rushers aren't really that good either. When you think of a team that has Cameron Wake, you think, hey, they might have a good pass rush, but they didn't really have much of that either. So in free agency, the Dolphins did make some moves. They lost a couple of guys, but they signed a couple of guys. They brought in Lawrence Timmons, they brought in TJ McDonald, they brought in William Hayes from the Los Angeles Rams. So they definitely made some moves on the defensive end to try to improve some of this, but I'm not really too big of a fan of the free agent signings that they did make. I'm not really sold on TJ McDonald. I didn't really think he was that great in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Rams, I should say. I got to clarify that now since there's 2 LA teams. Timmons, I didn't think he was, that great in the Steelers the last couple of years, And the Steelers are probably my second favorite. Well, they are my second favorite team. So I do pay attention to them closely. And I thought Timmons dropped off from what he used to be. So we'll see if he can have a career renaissance, but I'm not too sure about that. The one signing that I liked is William Hayes. We'll see how that works out for them. But otherwise, this is a team that I feel like you know, they didn't really improve too much, and that might have still been fine for them to compete for a playoff spot if they had Ryan Tannehill. But looking at their team and then looking at their schedule, they have a brutal schedule. The Miami Dolphins have a very brutal schedule. Sure, they played the Jets and Dolphins twice, or the Jets and Bills twice, but that's about the only good thing about their schedule. They played the Patriots twice as well. They played the AFC West, and that's not too good. I believe they played the NFC South, and there's a lot of pretty tough teams in the NFC South, so... You know, last year the Dolphins did have a pretty easy schedule. This year it's a lot harder. They're going to have to claw and fight their way for victories. And this Tannehill injury, I'm pretty sure, just sunk their chances of making the playoffs. And, I mean, I will see what happens, though. I mean, you never know what can happen with a backup quarterback. We don't know what's happening in that situation yet. But based on what I see with this roster, I don't really think that this is a playoff team right now, which sucks because the Dolphins definitely, you know, if they had Tannehill, I probably would have, like, in my mind, I didn't have the Dolphins making the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill. I was thinking they would go more like 7-9, 8-8, somewhere in the middle. But with this injury, there's a chance the Dolphins can really go somewhere between like 5-11, 4-12, 6-10, somewhere in that range because, you know, really tough schedule coming up now, and, you know, teams might just take them apart. So, you know, like I said, it sucks for the Dolphins. You see, we're playing this game. We're up 38-0. That's pretty much what I got for the Dolphins right here. Definitely some things to look at. Oh, yeah, the draft. I did not mention their draft class at all. So, I haven't done these things in a couple of days. So, I apologize for that. I haven't recorded one of these. So, the first round, they got Charles Harris with the 22nd pick out of Missouri. And they're drafting this year. They drafted positions that they need. So, this is one of those things where the Miami Dolphins did well in the draft this year. It'll definitely show up in their record. Not as good as it would have before with no Tannehill, but, you know, drafting Charles Harris at outside linebacker, drafting McMillan at, you know, maybe middle linebacker. We'll see if he goes outside as well from Ohio State in the second round, because the Dolphins definitely need some guys in that front seven to help out. They got a couple of big names, but that's about it. Kiko Alonso, you know, he's not really, you know, he's more of a coverage guy than, you know, playing run defense and stuff like that. And that's kind of the same with Lawrence Timmons is. So, you know, they definitely need some linebackers to help inside with that running game, and hopefully one of these guys provides that. The cornerback spot for them and the secondary in general is a little bit spotty, so they drafted someone in the third round. We'll see if he gets playing time. And last year they drafted a cornerback, Xavier Howard, I believe, in the second round, and, you know, he might be pretty decent this year, and hopefully he is for them, because they definitely need someone outside of Byron Maxwell to produce. And even then, we don't know if Byron Maxwell is going to come back this year and have a good year anyways. And then, you know, the safety spots is probably going to be Rashad Jones and TJ McDonald. And, you know, obviously Rashad Jones has been one of the best safeties for a while. He's coming back from injury, so hopefully that works out for the Dolphins. And then, like I said, I'm not too sold on McDonald. So that is pretty much it for the Dolphins preview. Hope you guys leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. And you guys see we're winning this game 7-45. We've been doing pretty good in these games, man. I haven't really talked about any of these games, but, you know, I think we've lost, what, 4 of these games out of the 30 that we played, maybe 5. So that's not a bad record. I'll take it. But for the most part, you know, I was really just playing these games just to play them. I wasn't trying to get into. I really wasn't trying to get in the close games. So when I had a chance to put people away, I put them away really quickly instead of keeping them around, because, you know, I didn't want to make the game the spectacle and rather just go over the previous series, because, you know, it would have killed me to have a close game in the background and me not commentating it because I'm talking about the Dolphins' injuries. You know what I mean? So we did a pretty good job of that, and this will be the last play of the game. So Dolphins fans, let me know how you guys are feeling post Ryan Tannehill, because he's probably getting this ACL surgery with the, you know, they haven't really handled the situation the best, leaving it in flux for a couple of days. Let me know what you guys think about this quarterback situation. Let me know what you guys think about the rest of the team. If you guys think that you guys can make a playoff push despite that, or if you guys think that this team should just tank this year, and, you know, maybe you guys actually want to get a high draft pick this year and take the year off, come back with Tannehill and see what happens in the young receiving core and a giant and all that. Let me know how you guys feel about that, and I'll catch you guys next time.